Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. World Bank warns of a global recession in 2023. Well, no duh. I just saw today also that Goldman Sachs is actually reversing their position, and that they're suggesting that the U.S. is not going into a global recession in 2023. I thought that was kind of kind of strange, but also kind of interesting. So this brought to us by XRP Crypto Wolf, and here's the skivvy. The top line: the global economy could face a recession and one of the weakest paces of growth on record in 2023, according to an annual projection released by the World Bank, following a year of accelerated inflation, worsening financial conditions, and Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. So the World Bank, a U.S.-based organization that provides loans and grants to various countries pursuing capital projects, has warned that we are very close to falling into a recession. They forecast some numbers here. Global growth cut nearly in half, dropping from 3% to 1.7%. U.S. is projected to experience a 0.5% growth in real GDP in 2023 compared to no growth for the European Union and 2.7% for emerging markets and developing countries. And then it gives some other statistics here. The organization said growth projects were cut because inflation rates have triggered unexpectedly rapid policies, resulting in worsening financial conditions, while economic shockwaves and an energy crisis continue because of Russia. And the World Bank President David Malpass suggested investing in creating new jobs, improving cross-border trade, and increased energy access. This could alleviate the issues facing the global economy, adding there are significant reforms that could be undertaken now. So this is the most recent projection, guys, coming from the World Bank. Notice, too, how they were saying that, other countries, other than European countries and other than the United States, their growth has actually not been impacted as much. I think that's also why, maybe in small part, why Ripple is also doing so well in foreign countries. I saw this from the Wrath of Kahneman. Now, this was from a couple of weeks ago, but FomoPay, okay? They're a Ripple partner. They announced that they became an official SWIFT member and obtained their own business identifier code, also known as the SWIFT code. This is a meaningful achievement for FomoPay in a pursuit to provide more efficient, secure, and reliable payment services. Now, hear me out, guys, because these guys are a Ripple partner, but this, I think, is an interesting move. FomoPay will utilize the SWIFT code to eliminate manual errors, reduce transfer fees and times, and streamline business transaction processes, thus enhancing its clients' global collection and payout experiences. So this article obviously, playing up the SWIFT connection and the SWIFT partnership. But meanwhile, Wrath of Kahneman here brings up an interesting point. Interesting market segment, he says. In July, FomoPay Singapore signed with Ripple to use on-demand liquidity for its treasury management. Then in December, they became a SWIFT member. It makes sense and it opens a lot of doors, but behind them, ODL is in fact running. And so there's a reference to that Ripple connection with FomoPay. One last note here, he says, prior to all of this, they integrated USDC into their services. Was it requested by a client or market, or just one of the number of expansions? Perhaps their ODL experience will convince them of the easiest on and off ramps via the XRP ledger. So, even if these companies are also, and I put also in quotes, partnering with SWIFT, it does just open a lot more doors for them. I mean, cross-border transactions, a big part of this segment. And of course, moving into this new financial system too, I think, this is where the race is going to start. Ripple and SWIFT, who provides the better solution? Well, when you have companies already partnering with Ripple, they obviously see the benefit there. But, it's one of those things where it's like, you might as well partner with SWIFT as well, just in case. Maybe using them as a backup if, Ripple's ODL is not good enough. Chuckle. Anyway, gonna move along, guys. Michael Branch bringing this to our attention. Another Ripple partner, this one, Centbee. They've launched international money transfer services in the United States. So they're a Korean company. And following the launch of Centbee's cross-border money transfer service, migrant workers and customers can leverage the service to move money to over 50 countries, including South Korea, China, the UK, India, and France. But more importantly, they have launched the international money service, guys, in the United States. So Centbee will help its users efficiently complete the transaction at a lower rate than existing money transfer services in the U.S., the company noted in a recent press release. Commenting on the development, Alex Seong-woo Choi, CEO of Centbee, said in a statement that migrant workers had widely adopted the company's service across Asia. These migrant workers have recorded tremendous success using the service in Asia due to Centbee's emphasis on eliminating cross-border remittance barriers while giving customers convenience. So, that is obviously number one for migrant workers, eliminating remittance barriers. So not only, the fact that it costs so much, but also the friction, right? The time that it takes to get this money across borders. Here's a quote: "We are bringing the same experience to the US, one of the largest financial markets in the world, and we will continue to expand our services to other markets, including Canada, Australia, and European countries." Per the announcement, before launching the money transfer service in the US, Centbee first formed a task force required to lay the foundation for the company's international money transfer business. And of course, as they've likely been seeing a benefit to using RippleNet in Asia, they're probably thinking about, if not planning already, to implement this service in the new countries that they are targeting. Note down here, they even identify Ripple's role in boosting Centbee's services. So they partnered with SBI Ripple Asia, a joint venture between SBI Holdings and Ripple, to improve the efficient financial service offered by traditional banks. Ripple also highlighted how it would be helping Centbee to bolster financial inclusion for migrant workers, and this happened right around the beginning of the pandemic. So they have been planning this for a while now, guys. Opening up in the United States of America. That is certainly an interesting development. Wanted to thank Michael for posting that. And another one here, guys, from Michael Branch, just with regards to XRP and how we're seeing even more traders now trading XRP among the top 100 BSC whales. So the trend continues. I know I reported on this a couple weeks ago. Well, we're continuing to see this, okay? XRP is currently the most traded token among the top 100 Binance Smart Chain whales after overtaking Aave in the early hours of Tuesday. So it has been vacillating back and forth, but we are seeing the biggest Binance Smart Chain whales trading in XRP. This achievement came amidst significant developments surrounding the legal battle. So they talk a little bit about that. Whale Stats, though, a top whale tracking platform, called attention to the impressive feat through a tweet as XRP surged back above the 35-cent mark. And here's the quote, here's the tweet to that effect, guys. Just in, XRP Ripple flipped Aave for most traded among the top 100 BSC whales. Check the top 100 whales here, and then it gives a link here for whalestats.com. So there you have it, guys. BSC whales trading XRP, not stopping anytime soon, I think. Well, I mean, hopefully this trend does continue to the upside. I was just demonstrating this in this morning's video, how we did see that initial uptick for XRP. And now hopefully what is looking to be forming here is that bullish pennant pattern. So we'll see if the trend continues, guys. I also saw this. David Schwartz recently took to Twitter to opine that the XRP ledger, the blockchain built around the Ripple cryptocurrency, is stronger in terms of censorship resistance than Bitcoin. Now, here was his reasoning, okay? He says, with Bitcoin, all you need is money. For the XRPL, you have to convince people you are right. So that's just it, right? Schwartz theorized that Nakamoto pitched a system for electronic transactions that had trade-offs similar to cash, which also does not allow for reversibility. He agreed with the principles behind this vision, but specified that cryptocurrencies should not necessarily be used for customer payments, as wire transfers are not typically employed for this purpose either. And just down here, the Ripple executive also disputed a claim that it is possible to reverse XRP ledger with a fork. A fork doesn't reverse anything. A fork creates two paths with different transactions after some well-defined point. When XRPL forks, users do have to choose which side of the fork they want to be on. So David Schwartz just explaining again why the XRP ledger is more censorship resistant than Bitcoin, and why it is in fact the superior platform. I mean, I don't think it takes a brain surgeon to figure that out. Nevertheless, another great article here, and just to confirm it from David Schwartz. Again, wanted to thank Michael for pointing that out. Now, there was a Twitter Spaces yesterday. I was not a participant, but I did glean some information here. I don't know if you guys caught it or not. If you did, please do put it down in the comments section. Zach Rector here on Twitter had a response to what Bob Way said in the Twitter Spaces. Here's my response to 2 points made by Bob about XRP being copied and XRP not being a store of value. So apparently Bob Way came out and basically said that, the government could basically copy the XRPL and the XRP cryptocurrency, thus creating their own version, which would in fact make XRP obsolete. He also said that there's no real store of value in XRP. So, I mean, in contrast to that, we have Zach Rector here giving his opinion.
So yesterday there was a Twitter Spaces about the XRP buyback, and we had some of the biggest contributors to the XRP ledger, former Ripple executive Matt Hamilton. We had Bob Way there, former employee early on at Ripple. And these guys have done great work. They've contributed to the XRP ledger, and I appreciate their questions that they had in regards to the buyback conversation. But I wanted to take up 2 points that I kind of had disagreement with with Bob Way, and I would have chimed in on the conversation, but I was hanging out with the family, listening to the Twitter Spaces in the background. So here are the 2 points that I had a little slight disagreement with in regards to Bob Way's comments. First off, he says that the XRP ledger could be, recreated. You could create a XRP2 in a couple days, right? And so basically asserting that the Federal Reserve, any party that did want to adopt XRP, they didn't need to do a buyback because they could just go write the code in a few days and have their own XRP. That is true, but we run back into the same problem that we have now today, is that nobody trusts the Fed, nobody trusts the US dollar, everybody's dumping our treasury notes, everyone's doing trade deals without SWIFT, without the US dollar, so we're back to square one. And you can't create the partnerships and adoptions and over 400 banks and financial institutions that have adopted XRP because Ripple has held their hand and led them to XRP. So yes, developers can create code very easily. But that's another point right there. There's a reason why they write code for these companies. They're not the ones leading the company. They're not the CEO. Brad goes to the BIS. He goes to the IMF, the World Economic Forum. It's not the developers. I'm not taking anything away from them, but there's a reason why they write code. They're a developer. They're not leading the charge. Okay. So yes, you could copy the XRP ledger, but are you going to get people to actually want to use your ledger? We saw JP Morgan try to launch their own coin. Nobody cares. Nobody wants it. We see the Federal Reserve, has lost all credibility over the last 2 years, and countries across the world are dumping the dollar, dumping our treasury notes. So we'd be back to square one if they tried to copy the XRP ledger and make it their own. The whole reason why people would want to use the XRP ledger is because it's open source, permissionless, and decentralized, right? And then the second point, Bob Way says that no cryptocurrencies are a store of value, and that you only realize the value that XRP has when you go to sell. Okay, yes, I understand what he's saying, but with XRP specifically and with other utility cryptocurrencies, the value that you are storing in the case of XRP is the liquidity. Now, yes, at the time, as it sits today, you have to sell your XRP to realize that value, to provide that liquidity. That is not going to be the case going forward, though, with staking, DeFi, lending, leverage. Your ability to leverage your XRP without having to sell will help you realize that value and provide liquidity for the ecosystem. We're seeing that right now with the flare drop. So, Bob, a great contributor to the XRP ledger and Ripple, but I had two disagreements there. With XRP, you are storing value, you're storing liquidity, and that's a massive problem to solve.
I'd also like to add, too, that there's the future value for the XRP token if, in fact, it is integrated into the financial system to the extent that we expect it to be. Of course, that's, kind of moving to the speculative side. However, Zach does bring up a good point here. The liquidity is the value. And I guess he also kind of does touch on, the ability to stake XRP and all the future use cases that we're going to see for XRP. That's where the true value lies. So, a few comments here. I guess maybe I should finish off by with my opinions. The idea of making a second XRP would likely be so painstaking and frustrating that I don't think that I don't think that the Fed wants to be in the business of creating another XRP. For the same reason as Zach says why JPM's coin failed. You're just not going to get the talent, right? And, when you have to catch up to a technology that's already superior and that already, for example, Ripple's already got the partnerships, you're already kind of starting at a disadvantage. So, I don't think it's a reality for the Fed to create an XRP2. Matt Hamilton also chiming in here. I totally agree with your point about creating a new copy of the XRP ledger. Does not bring it with the value of the adoption, etc. However, this is exactly the point, recognizing that the value of XRP is in the fact it is open, decentralized, permissionless, etc. If the US government were to, for example, buy back all the XRP, even if that was feasible, then the very act of doing that makes it worthless, as it has no value if no one else can use it. So that's an interesting point. If there was in fact a buyback, would the value of XRP be worth less because the government holds it all, or its use is prescribed by the government? Bob Way also pointing this out, okay? I'm not so pessimistic about the Federal Reserve nor the US government, so know that my interpretations of any of his replies here would have to relate to his philosophy or his thoughts regarding the Federal Reserve. So he's not negative on them. He doesn't see them as being necessarily untrustworthy. Along with this tweet thread here, Andrew, there's a lot going on here, and I will link this in the description of the video. But Andrews also brought this up. Well, technically speaking, R3 products could utilize XRP without any connection to Ripple. So it was with regards to another Bob Way comment up here. And Bob Way just mentioned that There was an R3 deal with Ripple. R3, for those of you guys do know, can settle in XRP, but they've also made other deals with other companies. So XRP is kind of not the only one. And Bob Way just saying, I'm not saying anything bad about R3 or their tech or even about being used with XRP. Just that at the moment, at that time that Ripple did make the deal, it was a bad deal. Back then, Ripple and R3 intended to work together, but things happened and both went different directions. So there was no follow through with that specifically. XRP Darren, though, here, a bit of a conspiracy theorist, as he does state, self-proclaimed. Being a conspiracy theorist that I am, I can't help but notice that Bob Way coming out of nowhere to dampen the hype. What is the motivation here? Now, it is interesting because we haven't really seen Bob Way since 2019. All of a sudden, he comes out of nowhere. Boop! We've got Bob Way back in the XRP community. And as per Darren, he is dampening the hype. Bob Way responding to this, am I dampening the hype? That is certainly not my intentions. I'm super hyped. I just want to make sure everyone's hype is focused in the most profitable directions. And Darren responds, does Ripple periodically ask you to chat with us? Curious timing for sure, says RP Rob Lowe. Darren Moore saying we should get news from the court case. DJ Ehudi 555 here saying Bob Way is the optimism and pessimism. That equals a realist test for the XRP community. To me, his return seems very lighthearted, engaging, informative, and funny. It's nice to have him back. So, some opposing views here. It's interesting, though, because he did come at a very, very convenient time. In my paranoid mind, you're dampening hype because you know something about the SEC verdict, again, from Darren Moore, and are preparing us for bad news or Supreme Court news. I'm not trying to be offensive in any way. And Bob Way responding to that, guys, with a great response here. I don't know anything about the SEC case, he claims, but I think it will be over real soon now. I'm also bullish that Ripple will prevail. Interesting. Ripple is a company that sold registered stocks to investors. They're not scofflaws. If anyone had said XRP needed registration, it would have been done way back when. So very interesting news here. Bob Way thinks Ripple's got a strong case. He's also very bullish on Ripple. He's not relinquishing his XRP. If you guys didn't catch the video I did on that, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. Did that either last week or the week before. So it is very interesting. Some very interesting timing here. We got some interesting thoughts with regards to this buyback, but it's very unlikely the Fed is going to create an XRP2, a second XRP, to replace the current cryptocurrency that we all hold, the cryptocurrency that Ripple is backing, that is going to be eventually used as all these partnerships roll out. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.